something spooky out tonight, and I think it's you.
Welcome to another Sci-Fi Night Top 5. I'm your host, Joseph Ari, and this doesn't feel right, does it? No, but we're back. Sebastian and me are back at it again. This is another Halloween Top 5.
Hi guys, and welcome to another collaboration between Sci-Fi Night and Joseph Ari. Hello to both of our viewer circles. So once again, we're teaming up for another Halloween Top 5 list, but this time it's gonna be a little bit different. Alright, stop. I can't do this anymore. Hang on. Okay, seriously. All those quick cuts made it feel like I was in a Michael Bay film. I don't get how you do it, man. Anyway, obviously, we are back once again for another Halloween Top 5.
And we all love the holiday of Halloween. Last year, we talked about our favorite movies to watch during that time. But Halloween is so much more. I mean, look at television culture. Whether Steve Urkel invents a creepy puppet that wants to kill the Winslow family.
I knew she'd pop up somewhere.
Roseanne throws a spooky Halloween party that creeps the living fuck out of everyone.
Ditches.
The gang over at Community has to deal with some zombies during a Halloween party.
Those are not zombies, those are our classmates and they're sick.
And they can make us sick by biting us. The banana said so.
Or Linus wants to finally find the Great Pumpkin. Halloween has inspired television culture as well, and very often this gives shows the opportunity to really hit their stride, to really go on and be a little bit more dark, a little bit more creepy, or a little bit more creative. And no show has done exactly that like The Simpsons. We all know that The Simpsons aren't what they used to be, but one thing is consistent: the Treehouse of Horror episodes. Yes, during their second season, they started to introduce Halloween-themed episodes. And when they first started this trend, Marge would actually warn the audience about the content of these episodes, because sometimes they would be a little creepy.
Oh my! It seems the show is so scary that Congress won't even let us show it. Instead, they've suggested the 1947 classic Glenn Ford movie, 200 Miles to Oregon.
The Simpsons Halloween specials. These are a yearly tradition for many people, and with very good reason. These special episodes have given us some classic laughs, and even so, they've given us some classic episodes. Some of the most well-known Simpsons episodes ever have been the Halloween specials.
We come now to the final and most terrifying painting of the evening. To even gaze upon it is to go mad.
They're dogs, and they're playing poker!
Who could forget the time-traveling craziness in Time and Punishment?
Fabulous house, well-behaved kids, sisters-in-law dead, luxury sedan. Woohoo! I hit the jackpot! Marge, dear, would you kindly pass me a donut?
Donut? What's a donut? It's raining again.
Or how about the surprisingly dark and creepy Nightmare Cafeteria? An episode that always creeped me out as a kid.
Don't worry, guys. Something always comes along to save us. Nevertheless, I remain confident that something will come along and save the two Simpson children.
I'm sure these episodes mean a lot to a lot of people, and they really should. Also, I want to take the time to direct some attention to my buddy Fedora, who did a similar list a couple months back, so check out the annotation on the screen as well.
And yes, we narrowed it down. 5 segments out of all of the Treehouse of Horror episodes. that we consider our top 5 segments. But first, we're gonna kick this off with a couple honorable mentions. Each of us gets to have 2. And Sebastian, now you have the honor. Kick it off.
Alright, so like Joseph already mentioned, we're going for segments, not the entire episode. And since there are so many great segments, we have to have not 2, not 3, but 4 honorable mentions. And I'm going to get us started with the first one, which goes to Citizen Kane. The last segment of the 7th installment of Treehouse of Horror features our lovable aliens Kang and Kodos taking over the world by exploiting the two-party system and taking the appearance of Bill Clinton and Bob Dole, both running for president, with some pretty hilarious hijinks along the way.
Mr. President, sir, people are becoming a bit confused by the way you and your opponent are, well, constantly holding hands.
We're merely exchanging long protein strings. If you can think of a simpler way, I'd like to hear it.
The political commentary is great and of course really funny.
But tonight I say we must move forward, not backward, upward, not forward, and always twirling, twirling, twirling towards freedom.
And as this year's US election is more reminiscent of Alien vs. Predator than anything else, it's an episode that's just as relevant today as it was in 1996.
It's a two-party system. You have to vote for one of us.
He's right, this is a two-party system. Well, I believe I'll vote for a third-party candidate.
Go ahead. Throw your vote away.
Alright, take it away, buddy, with our next honorable mention.
That was truly a great one, and it's a shame it didn't make our list. But now let's get to my first honorable mention, which goes to Reaper Madness. The plot of this segment in itself is hilarious and creepy at the same time. Death arrives at Evergreen Terrace to take Bart Simpson, and Homer is not having it, so he kills Death, creating a world without death.
Your time is up.
This is for Snowball 1 and JFK.
Ow!
That in itself makes for some great comedic moments, especially with Moe. But after taking on the mantle of the Grim Reaper, Homer becomes the next Reaper. Now, there are a couple things great about this episode. First of all, the concept of Homer being Death himself is funny enough, but the way they utilize that concept is pure genius. There's even a scene where Lisa has a bring your father to school day, and yeah, Homer harvests a soul in front of the children while they're cheering. And of course, this being a Treehouse of Horror episode, this one has a twist at the end, which is extremely hilarious. But now I'm interested, Sebastian, what's your second honorable mention?
Alright, our third honorable mention goes to the Omega Man. The first segment of the 8th Treehouse of Horror is a great one and a very clear homage to the 1971 film The Omega Man, which is also what the Will Smith film I Am Legend is based on. In this episode, France nukes the US. Yeah, you know this is a made-up cartoon when that happens. Anyway, Homer survives the blast by taking cover in a shelter and is now able to do whatever he wants. Up until he realizes some people survived as brain-eating mutants.
Come on, we just want to eat your skin.
Go to hell, Cookie!
This is a really fun episode which works as a great homage, but there are better homages on the main list, which we'll get to later. Alright, let's round off with our fourth honorable mention and get to the real list. Take it away.
Oh boy, yeah, I remember very vividly seeing that one for the very first time, and it almost hurts me that our honorable mentions didn't make our list. But this brings me to my next one, which goes to I Know What You Diddly Idly Did. Now, during the 90s, teen horror flicks were really on the rise, and a very iconic teen horror flick was I Know What You Did Last Summer. And The Simpsons really brought the feel of that creepy but yet cheesy movie into their own show and made it their own. The plot itself, again, is genius. Marge runs over Ned Flanders, and the way they deal with his death is amazing. First of all, Homer making sure that he's dead throughout the episode.
He's dead! He's definitely dead!
Gets me every single time. But all of a sudden, a hooked man comes after them and he seems to know what they did. It turns out that it is Ned Flanders and that he is actually a werewolf.
You can't kill the undead, silly.
He's undead all right.
Great concept. It even has a creepy vibe going on, which I love most about the Treehouse of Horror episodes, and a great homage to this specific time period. But now let's get to our list. Sebastian, kick it off.
Alright, that leaves us for the main list and the top 5 graphics. The 5th spot goes to Homer to the 3rd power. The last segment in the 6th Treehouse of Horror is an homage to a Twilight Zone episode, and we'll touch more on that later. Also, this is one of the most iconic Halloween segments ever. In it, Homer accidentally discovers the 3rd dimension while hiding from Patty and Selma. And while there, he needs rescuing and pretty much everyone gets involved.
Homer, this is your physician, Dr. Julius Hibbert. Can you tell us what it's like in there? It's like, did anyone see the movie Tron? No.
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 No?
No.
No.
Yes. I mean, no.
Professor Frink is great in the episode, and seeing a 3D rendered version of Homer was a pretty big deal back in the day.
Holy macaroni!
This is definitely one of the funnier Halloween segments, and without a doubt one of the most memorable, especially due to the great ending. Alright, and for those who are interested, this episode actually has a lot of Easter eggs in the 3rd dimension, for those who are willing to take the time to sift through it. Anyway, that brings us to the number 4 spot, which is also based on a Twilight Zone episode. Take it away, buddy.
Oh yeah, I really vividly remember seeing Homer 3D for the very first time. Back when we weren't used to too much CGI, the visual effects were groundbreaking. The fact that it paid homage to the Twilight Zone added so much more, yet it didn't lose the touch of what the Simpsons were all about. Mixing a weird concept with the typical Simpsons humor is just plain awesome. Which brings me to our number 4. Terra at 5.5 feet. And yes, this is another Twilight Zone spoof. Bart is on a school bus and sees a gremlin on the side of the bus, slowly destroying the engines. He tries to warn everyone, but everyone thinks he is going insane. And now he's the only one that wants to stop that thing. Now, right from the get-go, this concept is brilliant because it pays homage to pretty much the most iconic horror/sci-fi show of all time, but the humor is on point. The way they make use of that concept and turn it into something hilarious is straight up genius. I mean, there's even a scene where Bart warns Otto. He's like, "There's a gremlin right next to us. Can you deal with it?" And Otto just sees Hans Moleman driving right next to him, so he kills him. That right there is hilarious. Again, it has a very creepy ending, which is something I love, because the Treehouse of Horror episodes, they're really pushing it. They're pushing the boundaries of what is okay for Simpsons. And I absolutely adore this episode. But now Sebastian will give his insights on this specific segment.
Alright, so like I said earlier, this episode is also based on an episode of The Twilight Zone, and it's not the only Simpsons episode to be so. So the Simpsons have made homages to The Twilight Zone at least a dozen times throughout the years. Great Halloween episodes like The Monkey's Paw and Clown Without Pity have been based on Twilight Zone episodes, and Terra at 5.5 feet is no different, other than the fact that it's based on one of the most iconic parts of The Twilight Zone, namely Nightmare at 20,000 feet.
Quickly! There's a man out there.
What?
An episode so popular it was first aired in 1963 and later on remade in 1983.
I looked out the window and I saw something on the wing of the plane. The same thing happened to me.
The episode has been parodied in everything from Saturday Night Live to Ace Ventura.
Mr. Ventura.
There's someone on the wing. Something.
So yeah, this Halloween segment is so great because it captures the essence of the original source material, but adds that classic Simpsons twist to it. And that brings us to the halfway point. Give us our number 3.
Yep, couldn't agree more. It was so faithful to the original. Amazing job. Which brings me to our number 3. The Devil and Homer. We all know that Homer is not the best example for a good human being. And this episode, he finally gets what's coming to him. He meets the devil. He actually sells his soul for a donut. And it turns out that Nat Flanders himself is the devil. That itself is great because Nat Flanders has always been presented to us as the ideal person. He's like super religious, he's super nice to everyone. He never seems to have any flaws. Turns out he is in fact the devil. As he said it himself, it's always the one you least expect. However, he tells Homer that his soul only belongs to him from the moment on where he finishes the donut. And while sleepwalking, he actually finishes the donut, and now Nat is there to harvest his soul. Now, the segment at Hell is probably my favorite one, because the way Homer is being punished and the way he deals with it is both weird, violent, and yet hilarious. It's typical Treehouse of horror writing.
So you like donuts, eh? Well, have all the donuts in the world!
More.
And yeah, it turns into a courtroom scenario where the Simpsons have to get a lawyer in order to get Homer free. Another perfect example of mixing creepiness with Simpsons slapstick humor and very clever writing from beginning to end, because once again, this one has a twist. But now let's get to our number 2. Sebastian, take it away, buddy.
The Devil and Homer Simpson is such an awesome segment and one of the most iconic in the Treehouse of Horror series as well. Anyway, we're almost at the number 1 spot, but before that we're getting to the second best, which goes to Nightmare on Evergreen Terrace. So as the name suggests, this is an homage to Nightmare on Elm Street, and it's the second segment of the 6th installment of Treehouse of Horror. In it, it's not Freddy Krueger who's after the kids of Springfield, but in fact groundskeeper Willie.
It was only a dream.
Who was killed because of apparent negligence. And Willie's death is about as hilarious as you can get when it comes to someone being killed by fire.
Our next budget item, $12 for doorknob repair.
Nay.
We charge fire extinguishers. Now this is a free service of the fire department.
Nay.
Speaking of deaths, Martin's demise is pretty hilarious as well, and it reminds me of Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, Dream Warriors, which is one of the best ones as well. Paying great homage to Nightmare on Elm Street, Bart and Lisa realize that the only way to save themselves is to go after Willie in their dreams, which leads to even more great laughs.
Oh boy, don't dream about me no more, kid.
For me personally, this episode just hits every single note and is without a doubt one of the best homages The Simpsons has ever produced. Also, of course, I'm just a really big fan of the Nightmare on Elm Street series, and I just love the way it was parodied here.
Wheel him out quietly. It's best the children don't see him. Oh, just get it out of here. Not into the kindergarten.
So like I said, this is one of the best homages in the history of the Treehouse of Horror series, but it's not the best.
Oh yeah, Nightmare on Evergreen Terrace. What a great homage to Freddy Krueger. I have never seen a better spoof of our favorite creepy dream killer. But this brings me to our number 1. The Shining. During their 5th Halloween special, The Simpsons decided to tackle one of the most iconic horror movies of all time. And if you've been following this channel, especially our last Halloween special, you know that I love The Shining. And this episode managed to mirror the style, the themes, the creepiness, the horror of the original Stanley Kubrick film and again turned it into a dark comedy. I don't know how they pulled this off because on paper this should look like shit, but the way they executed and also the animation, I mean, look at this bit where Homer is losing his shit. It's both creepy and hilarious at the same time.
No TV and no beer make Homer something something.
Oh, crazy?
Don't mind if I do!
Stay away from me, Homer!
Give me the bat, Marge! Give me the bat! Give me the bat! Come on! Give me the bat! Give me the bat! Scaredy cat!
They play so well with all the little elements that made the original such a classic. Homer channeling Jack Nicholson is straight up genius.
Here's Johnny!
And again, this has a creepy ending, a really creepy ending, because they all freeze to death. And I loved every second of it. Every Halloween I have to check out this one. Sebastian, what do you think of The Shining?
Yeah, come on, this has to be the #1 spot. I mean, come on, The Shining is the most iconic Simpsons Halloween episode ever, and with good reason, because it pays such great homage to The Shining by Stanley Kubrick. So, without echoing what Joseph Ari just said, I love how monsters drag Homer out of a fridge after he's become a little too comfortable there.
Can't murder now. Eating.
Oh, crying out loud. Come
What?
on.
No!
I love Mo as the bartender.
Mo, give me a beer.
No, not unless you kill your family.
Why should I kill my family?
They'd be much happier as ghosts.
You don't look so happy.
Oh, I'm happy. I'm very happy. La 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 la, see? Now waste your family, I'll give you a beer.
I love Willie showing up and trying to save everyone.
All right, loony. Show me what you got. Is that the best you can do?
And, of course, the ending is just perfect. Once again, they captured the essence of the original source material, but just added so much Simpsons to it that it's become something of its own.
Here's Johnny! Don't! David Letterman!
Hi, David. I'm Grandpa.
Don't! I'm Mike Wallace, I'm Marley Saper, and I'm Ed Bradley. All this and Andy Rooney tonight on 60 Minutes!
And guess what? There's actually a deleted scene from that segment where Bart runs into the Simpsons version of the scary little twins. Here, check it out.
Your daddy's gonna kill you.
They're right, you know.
So yeah, once again, Joseph Ari, thanks for collaborating with me. It was a lot of fun as usual. Thanks everyone for watching, and if you have a different top 5 list of your favorite Simpsons Halloween episodes, by all means let us know what it is in the comments below. So, happy Halloween everyone, we are looking forward to more great content in this awesome month, and we'll catch you guys next time.
And that sums up our list. Now, before you execute us and tell us, well, my favorite segment wasn't on that list, well, let us know in the comment section below. What are your top 5 trios of horror segments? I want to give a big shout out to Sebastian Vandal Martinez. Thanks for having me again. It's always a blast working with you. Happy Halloween, my friend. Happy Halloween to all the Sci-Fi Night viewers. Happy Halloween to all my viewers. Have a good one, celebrate, be creepy, be weird, and enjoy the holiday.
Happy, happy Halloween, 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 happy, happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock, happy, happy Halloween.
Oh no! We left Grandpa back at the gas station.